Hey, action takers and wisdom seekers. Ever feel like you're drowning in other people's problems? Well, buckle up, because today we're diving into some hard truths that'll change your life. We're talking Stoicism, we're talking boundaries, and we're exposing the 8 types of people you need to stop helping right now. Trust me, by the end of this video, you'll be armed with ancient wisdom and modern insights to reclaim your time, energy, and sanity. Let's go. Alright, let's break it down. In this video, we're going to explore why helping everyone isn't always the right move, the Stoic perspective on assistance and personal responsibility, 8 specific types of people you should think twice about helping, how to set boundaries without being a jerk, practical tips for redirecting your energy to where it truly matters. But first, let me hit you with a mind bender. What if I told you that sometimes not helping is the most helpful thing you can do? Boom. Let that sink in. We're about to challenge everything you thought you knew about being a good person. Let's kick things off with a quick Stoicism. Here's the deal. Stoics believed in personal responsibility. They'd say, you're in charge of your own happiness and actions. It's not about being selfish, it's about recognizing what's in your control and what isn't. Now here's where it gets juicy. Stoics weren't against helping others, but they were all about discernment. They'd ask, is this help actually beneficial, or am I enabling bad behavior? Think about it like this. If you keep giving a man a fish, he'll never learn to fish himself. Sometimes, your help is like tossing someone a floaty when they need to learn how to swim. But wait, there's more. Stoics also emphasized the importance of self-improvement. They'd argue that by constantly helping others, you might be neglecting your own growth. Here's a nugget of wisdom from the OG Stoic, Marcus Aurelius. The best way to avenge yourself is to not be like that. In other words, focus on being the best version of yourself, rather than fixing everyone else. So before we dive into our list of 8 types of people to stop helping, remember this. It's not about being cold or uncaring. It's about being wise, strategic, and truly beneficial in the long run. Now, are you ready to have your mind blown? Let's get into the nitty-gritty. Number 1. The chronic complainers. You know that friend who's always whining about their problems but never does anything to fix them? Yeah, we're talking about them. These energy vampires suck the life out of you with their constant negativity. Here's the thing. Chronic complainers aren't looking for solutions. They're looking for an audience. They've turned misery into their comfort zone, and your sympathetic ear is enabling their pity party. From a Stoic perspective, these folks are trapped in a cycle of external blame. They're not taking responsibility for their own happiness or circumstances. By constantly listening and agreeing, you're reinforcing their victim mentality. But wait, you might be thinking, isn't it good to be there for your friends? Absolutely. But there's a difference between supporting someone through a tough time and being their emotional punching bag. Here's a hard truth. Your time and energy are finite resources. Every minute you spend listening to pointless complaints is a minute you're not spending on your own growth or helping someone who genuinely wants to change. So what can you do? Try redirecting the conversation. Ask them, what steps have you taken to address this? Or what do you think you could do differently? If they're not receptive, it might be time to create some distance. Remember, true friends inspire each other to be better. If someone's constantly dragging you down with their complaints, it might be time to reassess that relationship. Number 2, the perpetual victims. Alright, let's talk about the drama queens and kings of the world. These folks have turned victimhood into an art form. Everything bad that happens is someone else's fault, and the world is always out to get them. Here's the kicker. Perpetual victims aren't just annoying, they're dangerous to your own mindset. Hang around them long enough, and you might start seeing yourself as a victim too. Talk about a toxic mindset. Stoicism teaches us that while we can't control external events, we can control our reactions to them. Perpetual victims have thrown this wisdom out the window. They're letting circumstances dictate their entire lives. Now, I'm not saying we should be insensitive to people's struggles. Life can be tough, and everyone faces challenges. But there's a difference between going through a hard time and making victimhood your entire identity. By constantly rushing to the aid of perpetual victims, you're reinforcing their belief that they're helpless. You're becoming their crutch, and trust me, they'll lean on you until you break. So, what's the move here? Challenge their narrative. When they start playing the victim card, ask questions that promote personal responsibility. What could you learn from this situation? Or, how might you approach this differently next time? Remember, your goal isn't to be cruel. It's to help them see that they have more power over their lives than they realize. Sometimes, the kindest thing you can do is refuse to play into someone's victim story. Number 3. The manipulators. Buckle up because we're about to expose the puppet masters of the social world. Manipulators are the smooth talkers, the guilt trippers, and the emotional blackmailers who always seem to get what they want. Here's the deal. Manipulators are masters at making their problems your problems. They'll use every trick in the book. Flattery, pity, anger, whatever it takes to get you to do their bidding. From a Stoic perspective, manipulators are the ultimate test of your personal boundaries and values. They're trying to exploit your desire to be helpful, your fear of conflict, or your need for approval. But here's the truth bomb. Every time you give in to a manipulator, you're teaching them that their tactics work. You're not helping them, you're enabling their dysfunctional behavior. Now you might be thinking, but I don't want to be rude or hurt their feelings. I get it, but remember, setting boundaries isn't rude, it's healthy. You're not responsible for managing other people's emotions. So how do you deal with manipulators? First, recognize their tactics. Are they using guilt, flattery, or threats to get what they want? Once you see the game, it's easier to refuse to play. Next, practice saying no without explanation. Remember, no is a complete sentence. You don't owe manipulators justifications for your boundaries. Stand firm and watch how quickly they move on to easier targets. Number 4. The entitled ones. Alright, let's talk about the world owes me crowd. These are the folks who expect everything to be handed to them on a silver platter. They believe they deserve special treatment just for existing. Here's the scary part. Entitlement is contagious. Spend too much time catering to entitled people, and you might start feeling resentful or wondering, hey, where's my special treatment? Stoicism teaches us to focus on our actions, not our expectations. Entitled people flip this on its head. They're all expectations and no action. They want the rewards without the effort. Now you might be thinking, but isn't it nice to do things for people? Absolutely. Acts of kindness are awesome, but there's a big difference between appreciating kindness and expecting it as your due. By constantly meeting the demands of entitled people, you're feeding their delusion. You're confirming their belief that the world should revolve around them. And trust me, that's a recipe for a miserable life, for them and for everyone around them. So what's the move? Stop playing their game. When they make entitled demands, calmly point out the reality of the situation. I understand you want, but that's not something I'm able to provide. Remember, it's not your job to fulfill everyone's wishes. Focus your energy on people who appreciate your efforts and are willing to reciprocate. That's where real, meaningful relationships are built. Number 5, the responsibility dodgers. Alright folks, it's time to talk about the slippery eels of the social world, the responsibility dodgers. These are the people who are allergic to accountability. They've turned avoiding blame into an Olympic sport. Here's the deal. Responsibility dodgers are masters of the it's not my fault game. They've always got an excuse, always got someone else to blame, and if you're not careful, you'll find yourself picking up their slack. From a Stoic perspective, this behavior is the antithesis of wisdom. Stoicism teaches us to take ownership of our actions and their consequences. Responsibility dodgers do the exact opposite. But here's the kicker. By constantly bailing out these folks, you're robbing them of valuable life lessons. Every time you clean up their mess, you're denying them the opportunity to grow and learn from their mistakes. Now, you might be thinking, but if I don't help, everything will fall apart. Maybe. But sometimes things need to fall apart for real change to happen. It's called a wake-up call, and some people desperately need one. So, what can you do? Stop being their safety net. Let them face the consequences of their actions. It might be tough to watch, but it's the only way they'll learn to take responsibility. Remember, true growth comes from facing challenges, not avoiding them. By refusing to enable responsibility dodgers, you're actually giving them the gift of personal development. even if they don't see it that way at first. Number 6. The energy vampires. Alright, let's shine a light on the creatures of the night, the energy vampires. These folks don't suck blood, but they'll drain every ounce of your emotional and mental energy if you let them. Here's the scary part. Energy vampires often disguise themselves as friends or even family members. They're the ones who always need something, always have a crisis, always demand your attention. Stoicism teaches us to carefully manage our mental and emotional resources. Energy vampires are like a leak in your psychological fuel tank. No matter how much you pour in, they'll drain you dry. Now you might be thinking, but isn't it good to be there for people? Absolutely, but there's a difference between supporting someone and letting them siphon your life force. It's not selfish to protect your energy, it's essential. By constantly giving in to energy vampires, you're not just hurting yourself. You're enabling their dependence and preventing them from developing their own emotional resources. So what's the game plan? Set clear boundaries. Limit the time you spend with energy vampires. Learn to recognize when you're being drained and have exit strategies ready. Remember, you can't pour from an empty cup. By protecting your energy, you're ensuring that you have the resources to truly help those who need it, including yourself. Number 7. The perpetual freeloaders. Alright, time to call out the professional moochers, the perpetual freeloaders. These are the folks who are always happy to take but never seem to give back. They've turned, "Can I borrow that?" into a lifestyle. Here's the deal. Freeloaders have mastered the art of exploiting generosity. They know just how to play on your kindness, your guilt, or your desire to be liked. And if you're not careful, they'll bleed you dry. From a Stoic perspective, this behavior goes against the principle of justice and fair exchange. Stoics believed in contributing to society, not just taking from it. Freeloaders flip this idea on its head. But here's the kicker. By constantly giving in to freeloaders, you're not just hurting your own resources. You're reinforcing their belief that they can get through life without contributing. You're enabling a parasitic mindset. Now, you might be thinking, but isn't sharing good? Absolutely. Generosity is awesome. But there's a big difference between sharing and being taken advantage of. True sharing is reciprocal. So what can you do? Start setting expectations of reciprocity. Don't be afraid to ask for something in return. If they're not willing to contribute, it might be time to reevaluate the relationship. Remember, healthy relationships involve give and take. If you're always giving and they're always taking, that's not a relationship, it's exploitation. Don't be afraid to demand balance. Number 8. The chronic liars. Alright, let's wrap this up by talking about the masters of deception, the chronic liars. These are the folks who've turned bending the truth into an art form. They lie about big things, small things, and everything in between. Here's the mind bender. Chronic liars often believe their own lies. They've created an alternate reality where they're always the hero, always the victim, or always whatever serves their purpose at the moment. Stoicism places a high value on truth and integrity. Chronic liars aren't just betraying others, they're betraying themselves. They're living in a world of illusion, disconnected from reality. Now you might be thinking, but everyone lies sometimes, right? Sure, white lies happen. But chronic liars take it to a whole new level. They lie even when the truth would serve them better. By continually believing and acting on a chronic liar's falsehoods, you're enabling their disconnect from reality. You're helping them build their house of cards higher and higher, and trust me, that fall is going to hurt when it comes. So, what's the move? Stop taking their words at face value. Verify important information independently. And most importantly, let them know that honesty is a non-negotiable condition of your relationship. Remember, trust is the foundation of any healthy relationship. By refusing to enable chronic liars, you're not just protecting yourself, you're giving them an opportunity to reconnect with the truth. It's tough love, but sometimes that's exactly what's needed. Wow, what a journey. We've exposed the 8 types of people that Stoicism teaches us to be cautious about helping. But let's be clear, this isn't about becoming cold or uncaring. It's about being wise with your energy and truly helpful in the long run. So what's the big takeaway? It's this. Your time, energy, and resources are precious. Use them wisely. Help those who genuinely want to grow, not those who want to exploit your kindness. Here's your challenge. Over the next week, pay attention to your interactions. Are you enabling any of these 8 types of people? If so, it's time to make a change. Set boundaries, redirect your energy, and watch how your life transforms. Remember, true kindness sometimes means saying no. It means encouraging others to stand on their own 2 feet. It means valuing yourself enough to not let others drain you dry. So, are you ready to take control of your life? Are you ready to help in ways that truly matter? Then hit that like button, share this video with someone who needs to hear this, and let me know in the comments which of these 8 types you've dealt with. This is your wake-up call, people. It's time to live with purpose, set healthy boundaries, and make a real difference in the world. Let's do this.